Ah, beautiful downtown Ottawa, Terry.
A gorgeous sunny day.
Oh, this is great. Too bad we couldn't have gone skating, though. Really wanted to go on the canal.
Oh yeah, climate change sort of made that canal not work this year. First time in 60 years that there's no season for the canal.
No season for the canal. Sounds like a song.
Maybe the Tragically Hip did it.
Hey,
It was in Bob Cajun.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw the consolation.
Well, it's a famous line.
Well, speaking of which, we live in one of the most free communities and one of the most free countries.
Yeah, there's we're amongst 5 or 6, I think, was it? Maybe 7 of the freest countries. Maybe 8 or 9. I don't know. But we're we're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it was 7, 8. I think it's 8. Just like I said, jeez. But we're one of the freest countries in the world, and there's hundreds of countries in the world.
Jim is looking at a chart that I sent to him. It's called the Civicus Monitor, which is just a graphical representation of the world with color coding, green meaning the most free, and then you go over to the red spectrum, which is the least free, and you have variations of light green, yellow, and orange in between. Canada is among the freest countries.
Well, it's listed in the list of the freest countries. Mm-hmm. And then you have Russia, the second unfreest countries, China and some of the Arab countries being not free at all. A lot of the Arab countries not being free. But Canada, that stands out as one of the very few countries in this world where are the freest of countries.
So let's take a look at some of those other countries and notice this block, and I'm using the mouse to circle 3 countries in northwest Europe.
Yeah.
Scandinavia.
Yeah.
3 Scandinavian countries are the most free, and they all share one type of style of approach to taxation and governing that is anathema to people in the United States.
Yeah, and I think part of that is the population in these countries is low.
Yes.
So there's a more agreeable sharing of the wealth, which you kind of like, and I can understand that. Canada, I don't know why we fit into that because we don't have that same thing, but we do have a lot of social programs.
Well, notice Ireland is also...
yeah, and England is not.
England is not as much. It's one step down.
Yeah, one step down.
And you were mentioning that you thought Argentina was next to Mexico in terms of...
Yeah, that obviously doesn't show that.
It doesn't reflect it on that. So
yeah.
We need some investigation. How exactly did the Civicus Monitor arrive at these statistics? I know the UN provides statistics that would measure these things, and on that scale, we also rank.
And the other thing is when we were talking about Argentina and comparing it to Mexico was the need to board up your houses and crime. You may be reasonably free to kill who you want to kill.
Oh
you know what I mean? But
yeah.
I mean, you're right. It depends on how you've set it up. If you're talking crime, that would be maybe a different chart. As a matter of fact, it would be a different chart. So,
are you surprised that there is a difference between Australia and New Zealand, given that they're pretty much in the same proximity?
I'm more surprised that Mongolia is quite a bit freer than China and Russia.
Oh,
that little disputed country, Mongolia. Yeah. So that kind of is a shock to me. And Australia, when it comes to New Zealand, again, New Zealand's very small population, but we're talking. How you define freedom? In what way, I wonder? Freedom to vote? Freedom...
That would be part of it.
There's a lot to freedom, right? There's a lot to it. But the overall picture shows... it makes you feel good when you look at a map and you say, Canada's free, because I remember the Freedom Brigade that went to Ottawa there, which was talking about how we weren't free, and you kept saying, I don't know any other freer country than Canada. You don't like the government, vote it out, that kind of thing. Media everywhere, whether it's fake news or real news, and they reverse depending on who you trust. But you've got information, and you can get information on anything.
Freedom
anywhere.
of the press.
Freedom of the press, but freedom for knowledge. Like I can ask my phone anything, and we talked about that today. Remember,
The dangers of asking your phone.
no, but we were looking up. What were we looking up? Oh, who built the pyramids? And so we were discussing that. We
morning
checked their
conversation.
phones. Yeah, we checked their phones, and our phone told us straight up, aliens did it, Jim. No, they didn't say that.
Well, you checked Alexa or whoever
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah,
on your
yeah,
phone, which is an Apple product.
Siri,
and
I think.
AI Siri. And I simply Googled.
Yeah.
And so there's a difference in where we're going with our information. And
But if you
AI.
were studying it, going to put a talk together, you can check all of that.
Yes.
That's my point. You can't do that in Russia.
Yeah.
Like you can't just do what you want. I mean, in China, they block your signals for. I know they're going to be doing some of that in Canada too. When it comes to TikTok and the rest of it, I think they're blocking some stuff.
They're thinking of it.
I don't know if that's good or bad move, but at this particular point, we can get information and news from around the entire world. And if you think you're getting it from mainstream and you think that mainstream is corrupt, then go elsewhere if that's what you want. Just be careful. Because as you've often said, and I tend to agree, it's easy to say anything when you don't have to be accountable. The mainstream has to be accountable. They have researchers and they put names behind.
And there are laws to govern the behavior of media.
Yeah. And how many times have we seen mainstream media have to apologize? Some people say I've never seen it. I have seen it a lot.
Yes.
Where they go, we said this, we were wrong.
Retract the story.
Retract the story.
Publish an apology.
I don't know if you've ever gotten that, and maybe I can ask somebody who lives and dies off of the free
Social
media, if they've ever seen anybody say, I was wrong. Has anybody apologized? Unless they're always right.
Let's talk about the difference between social media and mainstream media or legacy media. And the first difference I would point to is not only the regulations that are involved in legacy media, whether that's print or radio or television, the standards are expected to be delivered, and when you violate those standards, there are consequences. With social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever your social media, TikTok, all of them, the standards are not there. They are not governed or regulated, and some people would say they don't want them to be.
Yeah, and the sad part about that is you have to really, really have your head in the sand if you don't realize that people will tell you anything in order to make money. I mean, there's people who just are, what do you call it, amoral?
Yeah.
They just have no morals whatsoever. And so if they can provide a good living, a good popularity, they can tell you anything you want. If there's no consequences, they can do what Tucker Carlson did with the insurrection January 6th,
Right.
or riot, if you want to call it. But it wasn't a picnic. It definitely wasn't a tour thing.
According to Tucker Carlson,
I know, but you see, that guy, I don't know how he can sleep at night. I guess my point being, obviously, he knows, because he had to go through a lot of video shots and everything else.
He never did.
Well, whoever his staff.
Yes.
And he found those skip little bits of things that when the police were down on their guard, it was in the beginning, or they were just trying to lay back and try to hope things calmed down.
The
that
20
way.
seconds before the glass was smashed,
Yeah,
and before feces
yeah.
was smeared, and before Pelosi's office was violated.
Yeah.
The 20 seconds.
And
in
before
between all
the
that.
couple of cops died and the other ones committed suicide, and the guy stuck in the door, and the security having to shoot the woman at the gate. Before all that happened, it was just nothing but a picnic.
Could we go back to Bill Maher? You mentioned him in a previous podcast in reference to Bernie Sanders, and I want to pick up on something he did, a segment on his show. I don't know whether you watched the whole show or not, but he took Tucker Carlson's text from his video and swapped it out
Yeah, he
with
did.
video of the they're all actual events.
Yeah,
so don't
yeah.
get me wrong. I don't want to say they're not. Yes, there were those 20 seconds of peace and calm and order, but there are also the 41,000 hours of violence and grotesque behavior. And so he took the January 6th videos that were published by the January 6th Commission or Committee and put Tucker Carlson's words to it.
Yeah.
It was just a picnic.
Just a-
chaos, smash, bang, bang. And no one was injured. And then you have the police smashed in between the doors. And they were so respectful to the Capitol Police.
Oh, I mean,
as they
it
break
just-
through the barricades and... Yeah, okay. So we see that it's possible to make anything say anything.
Our point being, there are people out there, and we all have to be aware of it, that are amoral, and they don't care. They don't care for you. They don't care for your family. And they'll tell you anything if you're going to send them money or get their popularity, get monetized, whatever you want. They'll do anything in order to get that. And those people are out there. I personally believe Tucker Carlson is one, where he knows he's doing wrong. He's just going to do it anyways because he'll make his bucks, he'll make his millions, and he gets tons of money, and then he'll just go away.
I have a question. Do you think Tucker Carlson has replaced Sean Hannity as the mouthpiece propagandist for Trump in the 2024?
I don't know. To tell you the truth, I only get what I get, and I see various things. Like if it comes up,
you can choose to get Fox anytime on YouTube.
I know, but I don't choose to.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So okay, you're choosing not to.
I'm choosing not to.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I've seen what he has said, and I've seen what he has done, and the guy bothers me with his lack of morality.
Okay, that's Tucker Carlson. Sean Hannity was the only news anchor to go on any campaign trail and speak on behalf of any candidate in history.
Really, eh?
And that was Sean Hannity going up to the 2016 election of Trump. I'm wondering if Carlson has replaced him as the mouthpiece for Trump.
We got an interesting, almost immediate future coming up here, which is going to be interesting because
The immediate future. Oh, I like that.
yeah, because like Trump's probably going to be
Future is now.
indicted. If he's not indicted, the world's just so corrupt. You might as well forget about it.
Okay. The Ides of March came and went. We're after the Ides of March, and I was hoping for an indictment. But it didn't
Friday,
happen.
Terry, Friday.
Friday's Happy St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a little Irish thing. All right. Jim and
I
Terry
did
Show
it.
signing off.
That's what you want to do.